Hello there. What is going on, everyone? We are going to be looking at the Breen Confederacy from Star Trek Ascendancy. Wonderful, wonderful, big board game from Gale Force 9. And we're going to unbox this. We'll take a look at what comes in the box. The Breen Confederacy are here to wreck your face, and we're going to see just how cool they're going to do it. They definitely do it in style. They kind of remind me of Princess Leia in Return of the Jedi when she had the Boosh bounty hunter disguise on. I always kind of thought that might have been an inspiration for the Breen. Of course, they could never admit to that crossing. You're not supposed to cross the streams. But you know what? I do a lot of Star Wars videos, and I also do Star Trek content as well. I do sci-fi content in general, and I don't mind. I think everybody's welcome. And that's why I end a lot of my videos with like live long and prosper and may the force be with you and so say we all and be excellent to each other and all of that good stuff. Real quick, a big thanks to Gale Force 9 for sending this out. They helped make this possible by hooking me up with a awesome review copy. Love them for that, so thank you. Also, if you guys haven't already, make sure you enter to win that lightsaber giveaway. All you have to do is be a subscriber and leave a comment on this or one of my videos. It's as simple as that. And check the links down in the description below. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up, share the video, all that good stuff. All of those things help. Giving thumbs ups, leaving comments. I want to know some of your favorite Star Trek episodes and space battles. I think Star Trek really just kind of hits a home run with capital ship fleet combat, and you guys know I love games like Star Wars Armada and things like that. But Star Trek, I feel like Star Trek was just kind of like the gold standard when it comes to like fleet-based combat, right? And Deep Space Nine really cemented that fact. And so that's why, like, if you haven't already seen, we just recently did the Dominion War expansion unboxing, and so the Breen are kind of come with them, but aren't really required. So in the Breen Confederacy rules here, we're gonna have kind of a list of the components. There's like a little URL, so if you want to check that out, you can do that, and you can. You can read on this, and they're isolationists, aren't they? So they're going to have a little bit of a different play style, which is pretty cool. And they have some different tactics as well. So look at that. They can, when they're in Breen territory, they can re-roll all failed to hit rolls, which is really nice. Re-rolls are a very good thing in this game. But that's pretty cool. They have their own abilities. Of course, every different species or faction has their own kind of dashboard in this game. And the dashboards are, they're all the same, except they have just a different design to them to make them look unique. And then they have their own special built-in powers kind of printed on the sides. And we are going to get some cardboard in here, as you do tend to get. We've got some extra space lanes and extra research, culture, ascendancy tokens right there. A couple of those, extra production and culture tokens, command tokens. The Breen as the starting world. Look at this. We get a couple of extra. A couple of extra tiles. Now, these are regular unexplored tiles, so these are not Gamma Quadrant tiles. So you're not going to have to worry about that. If you'll be able to use those in all of your games. So that is really cool. So we've got all of that right there. We've got a couple more planets here as well. The other cool thing about this is all of this just adds to your game. We've got Silwan Prime here with 3 open. What a great planet that is. You can make that into anything you want. Very, very cool. And we're going to take a look at the cards and this plastic here as well. All right, so we've got all the components close up. First off, let's take a look at the Breen ships. They have these big dreadnoughts here, and these are pretty cool, kind of showing maybe the ugly look, or at least the asymmetric look of Breen ships. And so we have those, and they kind of have a larger base, so they should definitely stand up pretty easy. I think that's pretty cool because considering that their ships are a little lopsided, giving it that larger base there is really going to allow them to stand up. So that's really cool. We also have our fleets right here, and these are the larger versions. I'll kind of compare them. You can kind of see the regular ship versus the fleet ship, a lot bigger, and we're gonna have 3 of those like you typically get in each of your factions. We have our cities here for if we're gonna take a planet and start building our production and researching culture nodes on there. So very cool looking cities, and we have the other parts of the plastic is our 2 little dials for our control board to mark our shields and our weapons advancement. We also do get couple of extra nodes for having an extra player, as each of these expansions gives you an extra player count. So if you have only the base game, you can only play 3 players. Of course, if you buy the Breen expansion, that adds 1, so this will allow you to play up to 4 players. But every faction expansion you get comes with all those extra. That's why we have all those extra tokens, and then of course all of these extra nodes to support having an additional player in the game. And I think there's enough races now to get like 9 players in game, which is really, really cool. Maybe 10 if you had somebody play the board, or maybe that is that 11. Let's see, we had 3 in the base game. Then you had the first 2 extra expansions. Then you had the so it was 5, and then you had the Borg, which I'm going to count the Borg for this 6. Then you had the other 2, and then you have these 2 more. That's 10 in total. So yeah, I guess we're up to 10 right now, but really kind of like 9. Which is kind of crazy. I don't know if you want to do a 9-player game of this unless you have like a whole weekend blocked off, because I think like 3 and 4 are kind of like the sweet spots for this game. More than that, then it starts to get crazy, right? But then again, some people really enjoy the much longer game. But for me, I think 3 and 4 are where this game really starts to shine. I haven't done. I think 5 is the highest we've done. So I haven't done a 6 yet, but maybe with the new Dominion expansion, a 3 versus 3 would be a little smoother. It's definitely worth trying one of these days when I have some more time blocked off. All right, so we're gonna look at their patrols. Of course, like all of the patrols, you have the backside. You can just have a regular fleet. They're not patrols. This one is called a patrol. Let's get putting words in my mouth. But you can have a regular fleet if you want, or you can have the system patrol, which is a smaller fleet. But the cool thing in here is each ship gets to roll 2 dice if they're in Breen territory. Again, that kind of fits with their whole isolationist kind of scheme, which is really cool. We have a science fleet, which is really small, right? Only 4. When this fleet braves a hazard, only roll for 1 of its ships. The fleet may brave the hazard of a phenomenon they occupy without exhausting a command. So you're not going to risk losing your whole fleet, which is really nice. And if you go in there with 4, you're not going to risk your fleet falling apart at all, which is pretty good. And we have a deep strike fleet. They can invade a planet from an adjacent sector. If they do, it cannot take control of the system, and they must retreat after the first combat round. So this is kind of giving you that strike without necessarily trying to take over. But this is going to be kind of good if you have maybe another fleet following up to kind of come in afterwards. Or if you're just trying to do hit and run tactics, which is also pretty good. And again, all of these, you can flip them over just to have them be normal fleets instead. So these are some of the options that you're going to have. Now, one thing I want to draw your attention to, as far as like all of their advancements, they have a starting advancement here that is really, really cool. The extremely territorial advancement: when a hostile rival ship enters a system you control, roll a die for each rival ship. On a 6, they are destroyed regardless of their shields. That's a huge reduction in forces for anybody who wants to come in. So if you like to play like a turtle faction, this is the way to go. My goodness. So we're going to take a look at some of their cards here. Bio ships, privateers, cold storage ships, fight to the death. They may not retreat. Oh my goodness. Home guard. Breen may initiate a space battle in Breen territory without exhausting a command. Always a nice, being able to save commands. Slave labor during your build phase. Place a free ship in each starbase you control. Very, very cool. All right, so those are just some of the Breen advancements that they're going to have as an option. I do especially like that starting one, though. That's crazy cool. We do come with a reference card as well for the Breen. And we get a couple of extra cards. So we'll take a look at we'll have their trade agreements, but then all their extra exploration cards. So again, we have the Breen trade agreements. By the way, these are only 2s, right? They can't give out a 3, and you can only be given if you are adjacent to them. Again, kind of fitting into their territorial kind of isolationist nature. They're not, and I guess this is kind of one of the drawbacks of playing like a turtle race here. You're gonna not be able to trade either. So good luck trying to produce a massive fleet, but maybe you won't need to because people are gonna pay the price if they come to invade you. So it's very cool, interesting new playstyle we're seeing with some of these cards. So let's look at some of our exploration cards. We're gonna get a Breen confrontation, some basic civilization cards, level 3. We get a Breen delegation. We get abandoned wreckage, the unexpected boon. By the way, great way to take an image from the greatest Star Trek episode of all time. You guys know. Oh, and more episodes from the greatest Star Trek. It's a fake! Oh my god, best episode ever. Solar Flare and Civil Unrest. In the Pale Moonlight, my friends. The best Star Trek episode of all time. Hands down. I don't hear your favorite. Well, actually, let me hear your second favorite, because I'm sure In the Pale Moonlight is got to be on most people's top 5, and probably number 1 for a lot of you guys. Let's talk about that, because I love it. But then again, maybe it's not your favorite. It's hard though. It's like, for me, everything else is trying to compete for number 2. All right, guys, that is the Breen Confederacy expansion for Star Trek Ascendancy. Again, big thanks to Gale Force 9 for sending this out. Looks like a really cool expansion. I think one of the most interesting races that we've seen come to the game, and I really like the play style. It's extremely evident from the cards how their strengths are going to be and where their weaknesses are going to be. Very, very cool. I also like that even though they came out kind of alongside the Dominion, you don't have to have the Dominion to be able to play them. So totally standalone expansion to add an extra player to your games of Star Trek Ascendancy. So definitely check it out. If you want to learn more about Star Trek Ascendancy and Gale Force 9, I'm going to have a link down in the video description below. Big thanks to all of my patrons as well. You guys are absolutely amazing and help make this channel possible. So thank you for your continued support. May the Force be with you. Live long and prosper. Be excellent to each other. Keep rolling dice. Keep playing games. Always wash your socks. Don't forget your shoes. And always be nice to each other. Be excellent to each other. Goodbye there.